we're live. You're listening to the Hashgraph Enthusiast Show.
Hosted by Brandon Davenport, aka It's Brandon D.
Well, hello everybody. It has been a minute, 2 weeks since I did an episode. Awesome to see everybody tuning in. We have some exciting stuff planned for the show. As I was teasing, I'll let you guys know the time that we're doing it. 1 p.m. Eastern, so in 1 hour, we're going to be launching something pretty crazy at Hgraph. It's a new tool for the ecosystem, and I think a lot of people are going to really love it. Some people might not love it, but we'll see what's going on. HBAR Gremlin, good to see you. Bones, good to see you. Yeah, the hackathon's been crazy. Well, this is part of it, right? So Hgraph entered the Hello Future Hedera Hackathon 2024, and we've been, over the last month, we've been hacking away, and there's a great story to it. We'll really dive into it, but our submission, this new thing we're launching, goes live in about an hour, so keep an eye out on socials and stuff. We'll talk about it here. I'm actually going to have Tyler, CEO of Hgraph, come by the show, aka my boss, and we'll talk a little bit about what we've built. But I'm pretty excited about it. But first, I wanted to just mention that I believe, according to my calculations, on the 24th of August, so 22nd, 23rd, Saturday, I think, is the 1 year, or is the not 1 year, but like the anniversary of the Hedera mainnet going live. So shout out to Lehman and Mance, meeting at a Starbucks, putting it live. So put that in your calendar. I'm sure there'll be some kind of celebrations and stuff like that, but I noticed that. And yeah, like I said, it's been 2 weeks since doing an episode, and the reason for that was I was at a conference last week in Toronto, which ended up being like really, really, really cool. Ran into a bunch of great people. I got a couple photos and stuff to show everybody. But it was hey, Paul, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, if you're tuning in, everybody, throw your comments in. Let me know what news we should talk about. Share the show. The more the merrier. Let me see if I can pull this up. It was called the Blockchain Futurists Conference. Why isn't that sharing the right tab? Hold on. My screen sharing is off. 1 sec. Stand by. Why isn't it sharing the right tab? Oh, well, whatever. Basically, the Blockchain Futures Conference in Toronto was really, really cool. And here, 1 sec. Give me 1 sec, everybody. I'm just going to quickly do some music here. I'm just going to restart OBS to get this started. Stand by. Hey, and we're back. Gotta love this stuff. But anyways, so the Blockchain Futures Conference in Toronto. This was great. Went to it. It was last week, like I said. Wasn't doing the show last week, but I do have some photos and stuff to share from the conference that was kind of cool. This was me, obviously, kind of like heading from the train. This is a Union Station in Toronto, kind of cool thing. There's me at the CN Tower in Toronto. Toronto's a great city. Spent a lot of time there. I live in Ottawa now, but this was kind of a great vibe. This was meeting for the first time in person, Jesse from Hashport, which again is like the bridge for Hedera, getting other coins from other networks into our ecosystem. So it was great to meet Jesse. And of course, May from Hashpack. This was an awesome event hosted by, if anyone's familiar with Orbis 86, they hosted a great event in Toronto. We went there. Jesse gave a panel speech. It was super cool. This is Jesse giving a speech. Hedera banner, of course, for everyone. Another shot of Toronto. Again, it's been a few years since I spent some solid time in Toronto. So this is actually really, really cool. One thing that was great. So this is Pluto from Hashpack. One thing that was great that like a lot of people got the like 2-for-1 passes, but the same name was put on both badges. So he had a badge that said May, which was pretty funny. And this was the conference area. And like the setup was like wicked. Like, to be honest, the folks that I was there with were kind of blown away with the setup and kind of the quality of it. There we go. My cute hat. I had a badge that said Tyler McDonald instead of my name. And then this was like a great walkthrough of the event. And again, setup was sick. The space was awesome. Lots of people were there. They had a lot of chill space to hang out. No, man, what's up? Good to see you. And yeah, lots of good stuff. There's Tyler and May talking about Hedera things. This is a great photo. Hgraph and the Hashpack team. I think that's the best part about these conferences is like getting people together in person. The energy was just great. This was cool. So this is a guitar right here that's shaped like the Ethereum logo. And I had a few people. So this was one thing about the conference that kind of blew my mind was I had a few people come up to me. HBAR News, how's it going? Good to see you, man. I had a few people come up to me that were like, hey, I listened to your show, and they like pull out their phone and they showed the podcast or the whatever on their phone. And I was kind of surprised. I had a few people come up and like say they watched the show and they enjoy it. And even more people coming up asking about Hedera, just kind of out of the blue. And it was very kind of surprising, but really cool to kind of see that interest in the network and just kind of awareness around it. And people approaching us. GM, good morning. It's funny for folks listening to the audio version on podcast. This is when I'm saying hi to people, leaving comments on the live stream. But people coming up to us asking about the network. That was really, really, really cool. But yeah, this was an Ethereum guitar that they made, and they want to tokenize it on Hedera. I said Twigital might be a good option, so we'll see. This was also cool. So this was out in like this cabana area, which was like massive. And again, I love conferences where sure you've got booths, sure you got the stage, sure you got panels, but like the chill space to like hang out with people, getting deep conversations, like that's where a huge amount of value comes for me from conferences. So lots of outdoor space. The weather in Toronto was great. Usually the weather in Canada this time of year is not great. So this was like pretty serendipitous. Here's a cool clip of like what that cabana area looked like. And again, I was expecting this conference to be like super tiny. It was not. There must have been at least 7,000 people there. It was crazy. It was super cool. This was a great dinner that we had. Like we've got Jesse from Hashport here. And again, got to give a shout out to Hashport. I mean, they're doing all they can. It's the bridge into the network. They're so critical for our ecosystem, and had so many great conversations with Jesse. So shout out. Had a great dinner. There's the two Tylers there, Tyler from Hashpack, Tyler from Hgraph. May, we even had Joe High Times there, a Torontonian. Great to see him in person. I mean, that's one thing about this ecosystem and community is like just the collectors and users and community members are like what this is all about. So it's always awesome to have like community members hanging out with people. You know, so it was great. It was great with Joe High Times. He's like, man, my spaces are so brutal sometimes. And I'm like, you know, it is what it is. He's a genuine guy. So it's great. There's me and Tyler chilling out in the cabanas. There's me at the hotel. It was a good hotel. Grabbing some, what is that? What I got? Oh, in the morning. Hell yeah. There for the free coffee and muffin. This is a photo of Tyler and I working on our hackathon submission that is launching in 50 minutes now. Maybe if we can, is there a way to zoom in on the screen? Can we zoom in? I don't think we can zoom in. This was really cool too. So, allegedly Ray, legend in the community. We were sitting watching a panel and guy comes up. We were in a little group chat together. And again, community member coming up. He brought us these delicious citrus ginger drinks from the food truck, some nachos. So we were literally sitting in the booth with nachos and bevies, watching a panel on like real world assets from like someone from Coinbase. And in this great venue, it was just kind of a total vibe, just people kind of getting together and connecting, which was great. There were lots of these too, these ATMs. And I was like, how do we get HBAR into these? Because I think there were other assets in them, and there was a lot of people using them. Like there were people like on these ATMs clicking away, putting their credit card in and like all that stuff. So I'm like, whoa, you know, it'd be cool to say to people like, hey, grab your credit card, buy some HBAR. And of course, it wouldn't be a conference without seeing a Cybertruck. We were driving around and we saw a Cybertruck in Toronto. And of course, it had Austin, Texas license plates. So who knows? Was Elon Musk there? I don't know. Cannot confirm, cannot deny. And that's it for the photos. But honestly, it was a great conference. And some other kind of quick notes on the conference were like, again, lots of HBARbarians there by surprise. Wasn't expecting it. Conference was better than expected. So shout out to all those people. And the folks I was meeting with from the community, builders in the ecosystem, like honestly, so many people are in lockstep right now, right? Like there are problems in our ecosystem for sure, but the leaders in this ecosystem truly see those problems as opportunities. And there's so much like independent strategy, execution, ideation, planning. That's just really the community. Like every single person in leadership at Hedera and Swirlds Labs or Hashgraph and all that kind of stuff, everybody should really understand that there's like a truly world-class ecosystem and community here, building with whatever they got. And it's like, that is everything in Web3. Having a solid, sticky community is everything in Web3. So again, I'll say that the Hedera community is probably one of the most underutilized assets in the industry. It's just incredible. Also too, like I was listening to some conversations like over the shoulder and stuff like that. There's a lot of family offices, like investment family offices that were there looking for new networks with upcoming projects and ecosystems. I also chatted with a venture studio that's actually just up here in Ottawa. I'll grab a coffee with them, but they were very interested in the Hedera ecosystem, what's being built here. They were familiar with Hedera, but once I explained where we're at, some of the problems in the ecosystem, again, those kind of folks see problems and see opportunity, and they're very interested. It's like, hey, it's a novel new technology, this new network. We're seeing some good growth, and we have a bunch of different pockets of pre-revenue, pre-product startups that are very energetic, and so it's right up their alley. So that was very cool. And just in general, like there is definitely like a massive pool of talent in this ecosystem that does go untapped. So I do see that as being attractive to, venture studios, venture capital, like that kind of stuff like that. And yeah, to be honest, conference was better than expected. Shout out to Futurist, Blockchain, Toronto. It was always good to be in Toronto. So had a blast, had such a good time. Meeting everybody, seeing the fam. So honestly, I really needed it. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. It was great to see everybody. So that was awesome. Quick shout out too for everyone tuning in. Share the spaces again, the live stream, because coming up in 45 minutes, we're going to be launching a new product from Hgraph, and maybe I'll give a little teaser here. I'll give a little teaser. Okay. The teaser is, lots of people wonder how much revenue Hedera generates. And this product and platform that we're launching in 45 minutes will answer that question. It's kind of like, I'm live now. I can kind of chat about this, but it's launching in 45 minutes, but it's kind of like, anyone who's familiar with HederaTransactions.com. So like, let me see here. And also too, the show is live. I know I've been away for 2 weeks, but the show is live every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, live on X and YouTube and soon LinkedIn. But anyone familiar with this beautiful website here, HederaTransactions.com. It's awesome. You can see live transactions on the Hedera network. It's amazing. And it's so important, right? Because it allows us to see what's going on. So what we're going to be launching is, kind of like Hedera Transactions, but for revenue. So stay tuned. And if you got friends not tuned in yet, tune in. So it's going to be interesting. Another big story this week was Thrive Coin. So as we've got so much stuff happening in this ecosystem, and as I've been talking about, and many in the space have been talking about, the need for better marketing, community engagement, all that kind of stuff. This was really cool to see. So there's a project called Thrive Coin. They're in different ecosystems. And when I was at the conference in Toronto on my way back to catch the train home, I saw this announcement come out, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. This is a great platform that we need. We need to incentivize people to, make videos, make tutorials, engage with the ecosystem. A lot of platforms have this, right? A lot of networks have this. So this was great to see. And this video with Jake, the Grelf guy, we've had him on the show a few times. And it was good to see. I was on the spaces. It was just a bit of a vibe. Tradeaholic. No, I was just talking about, you didn't miss too much. I was just talking about my trip to Toronto, but the big juicy stuff is coming in about 45 minutes. So just in time. So this was cool to see. Now, unfortunately, when the platform launched, there was an issue where people couldn't connect their Hedera wallet. And, I think that there's two things here that we got to keep in mind, right? First thing is, it's really important the experience that new projects have entering this ecosystem, right? And knowing that it's not easy to go into new ecosystems, and Hedera is a little weird. So it is unfortunate to me sometimes to see, and this has happened before, and for whatever reason, a project comes in to Hedera that isn't quite familiar with the network, but they're in here, and they pop in and they do something wrong, right? They use the wrong thing. They do something the wrong way. Something doesn't work. And I think there is a lot of frustration built up in the community, rightfully so. But it is unfortunate to see then a new project get like hammered with like negativity and bad vibes, especially when it's involving, like a community member like Jake. Like, whatever you think about Grelf or whatever it is, he's a good guy. He's if he's not an hBARBarian, I don't know who is. And he's doing the best he can. And so it's unfortunate to see that. And it definitely is a product of frustration in the ecosystem. So I think that we should really get back to our core principles as a community and remember that when projects are coming in and starting to build here, we can definitely expect those new projects not to do everything completely correctly. and just kind of help them out. There's a positive story here of like, would you want the story here to be option one, which is we went to build in Hedera, we messed some stuff up, everyone got so pissed and it just sucked. Or, option two is like, we went to go build in Hedera, like we messed some stuff up, but like immediately everyone jumped in to help and we got some stuff sorted out, made a bunch of new friends. I like option two. And I know it's more nuanced than that. It's more complicated than that, but that's kind of my take on that side of it. The other side of it is, when partners in the ecosystem and stuff like that are launching products, you got to test things, right? There's great resources. There's great community. And so I was a little surprised that, there wasn't kind of a heads up, and there's a lot of stuff that could have been done beforehand to help that out. So that's the learning from this. The learning from this is if there is a project like this that is so important, launching in this ecosystem, the project or whoever its ecosystem partners are have to reach out to others in the community to help test it, make sure it's working properly, build those early relationships and supports. The more the merrier kind of thing, right? I think that if you do it too insular, isolated on an island, that's where I think you can kind of run into a lot of mistakes and errors and stuff like that. So that's the key learning. That's the key takeaway from this. But I've chatted with the Thrive Coin people, good people. Ben's an awesome guy. They're working away. They're working hard. It'll get resolved. I think it's a net benefit to the ecosystem. So that's my take on it. Is it's like, hey, shocker, someone launches a product on a new network and it doesn't work properly. Let's come together. Let's get it working. And the more that we do that, the more people are going to come in, right? And I know this is kind of an extreme case, but it is what it is. I'm trying to put a positive spin here. Problems are opportunities, That's my take on it. And again, I've spoken with their team. They're good. They're good people. They've even said like, hey, we're a fan of, hash tables and, the hash ledgers and these kinds of things. We get that it's like new and just, whatever. And so it's like, it's just people are coming in with an energy. And we just kind of got to make it a good spot to be. But that aside, just want to say a huge shout out to, I just got to give a huge shout out to Jake Warlock. Good, really good guy, ecosystem leader. Really, really appreciated what he's been doing. So let's get into some ecosystem updates, the headlines here. And a reminder in about, 35 minutes, we're going to be launching a thing. We're going to be doing a thing. And it's going to be interesting. So if anyone's curious to be a part of it as this launches, it's the HederaTransactions.com for revenue on Hedera. If you're interested, if you know anyone that's interested, tell them to come in the stream. I'm going to have Tyler from Hgraph on the show in just a bit here, and we'll talk about it all, and we'll show you some stuff. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. Not everyone's going to like it, to be honest, but it is what it is. So, headlines, what's going on? Well, I got to give a huge shout out to Ash at Swirls Labs, because his game, the barking game, is like going out of control. This thing is crazy. So basically how the game works is you go to the website, you connect your wallet, you buy hBARK, the coin, right? You earn your BARK power. It's connected and integrated with Twitter. You got a leaderboard here to see. Oh man, I've dropped down. Holy Jesus, where I'm off the leaderboard. Oh God, I've been too busy with the hackathon. What am I doing? Mance is number 1. Jesus, what's going on? Okay, I gotta figure out what's going on. But anyways, how it works is when you're on Twitter or X, and someone posts something that you think is cool, all you have to do is comment something and just put how much hBARK you want to vote for it. And how it works is it's all connected together. So when you are barking at people on social media, on X, it adds to your ranking in the leaderboard. So to be honest, if you're watching this show, comment on the post, give me some hBARK. I got to get back up the leaderboard. I don't know what happened. But yeah, you can bark at people. And this is, again, like Thrive Coin, this is a community engagement incentive program that's like rewarding community members, for the work they do in the ecosystem. And more than that, this was built just organically by, a community member. So this stuff is what I'm all about. This is what I'm here for. This makes me so bullish on this ecosystem, on the Hedera community, because this is engagement at work. So huge shout out to the Barking Game Project, hBARK Coin. Let's rock and roll. Ash, you're a legend. And yeah, it is what it is. This is awesome. I love to see it. All the instructions are on the site, but y'all should go check it out. Also too, kind of like a little bit of a, womp news. I was watching another episode of the HBAR Bulls show, a great episode, by the way. And look at this. This is pretty breakthrough. So Coin Man, how you doing, buddy? Barks in the live stream. I got to see Ash, barking in a YouTube live stream. This is a new paradigm. This is a new paradigm for the barking game. I don't know if it works, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I was watching the HBAR Bulls show over the weekend. Another great episode. But just one like little nugget from it was about the coupon bureau. Obviously in Hedera, we talk about the coupon bureau all the time. The question was like, is the coupon bureau still building on Hedera? It's been forever. And basically Rob Allen, who is on the governing council at Australian Payments Plus, he's got good insight into everything happening. Basically what I took away from it is the new 8112 coupon standard is full steam ahead. But like many businesses, especially in this economy right now, coupon bureau is focused on generating some revenue, right? And I don't know if it's up in the air if they're going to use Hedera for their system, but it definitely is up in the air as if it's going to be launched with Hedera this year or what that timeline looks like. So I don't think we can say Coupon Bureau is not using Hedera for their use case right now. I think more so we've gone from it's going to launch with Hedera to I don't know exactly what's going to be happening with it. So that's something to keep an eye on for sure. But it is what it is. This was great to see. Will from Dead Pixels Ghost Club. I love this energy. Tweets out, the vibes are coming back. And I got to agree. I know, again, that we've got a lot of problems in the ecosystem and we talk about them on the show, but I don't know. There's a bit of a sentiment happening. There's a bit of an organic energy kind of popping off a little bit, which I'm appreciating, which I'm excited about. So I dig that. Just want to give that a little bit of a shout out. Hey, thank you, Coin Man. He barked my X post as well. Thank you. Let's get me up in the leaderboards. So AOPay. This was cool to see. So HBAR Tata, regular viewer of the show, friend of the show, appreciate you. Always fire posts. AOPay, a new shopping payment solution built on Hedera. More than almost 250,000 grocery stores in Indonesia are members of the AOPay by SRC ecosystem, which leverages digital solutions for grocery partners, stores, and customers. The app also offers a points scheme and pay later. So a payment solution, right? For their tweet got deleted. Okay, so AO deleted their post. So I'm assuming this is still going. But again, payment solution, kind of like what we were talking about with coupons. It's a bit of a vibe. Hoping it's still on. AOPay, bring the tweet back or something. I don't know. Moving on to Copper. Copper is a crypto custodian, and this was launched last week while I was at the conference. Kind of cool to see. This is an article from The Block, And do not allow notifications from this website. Good Lord. Yeah, Copper. So they're providing custody services. A few notes about them is they're connected to a ton of different firms and organizations, and those organizations custody like trillions of dollars of assets. Oh my God, these pop-ups. Good Lord. Yeah, so the organizations they are connected with custody trillions, right? So in the article also mentioned, earlier this year, blockchain firms Arcax and Onera issued a BlackRock Treasury fund on Hedera. So there you go. Though without BlackRock's direct involvement. Is that a link to the Cointelegraph article? Okay, whatever it is. Deep tracks. And the other thing about Copper is the core of their business is custody. They support HBAR and HTS tokens like USDC. So that's kind of interesting. They also have the EVM tokens like BlackRock and Aberdeen money market funds, like we said. It supports HBAR native staking, which is cool. They have a collateral management tool, and they have integrations with major exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance. So this is pretty important. I mean, a big thing this ecosystem has been focused on is custody solutions for institutional investors and different things like that. So this stuff is very, very, very important. So it's very good to see these kinds of things coming online. So Copper, shout out, good to see. I'm stoked. This was a very cool story to see. So shout out to Michael Cantor at NFTier launching Kiloscribe. I was just on a call with him recently, showcasing some of the stuff, and this stuff is truly awesome. So basically, it's the recursion hashinal area umbrella component of Tierbot. They've spun it out, and this is very, very cool. You can inscribe hashinals easily, all sorts of different knowledge about hashinals, and different games. So you can inscribe whole games on hashinals. They've also inscribed things like the Wallet Connect library, React, Next.js. So if you're a developer, these resources are actually stored now on the Hedera network that can be accessed via Kiloscribe's APIs. And so to put it in more technical terms, we've got immutably stored and provable programs, applications stored on Hedera, which is huge. So it's not like you have the same capabilities when it comes to the execution of smart contracts, but similar to a smart contract, you can have executable code on the Hashgraph immutably stored and provable. So this is a major step forward into what Hedera can be used for in the future and now. And I think that this stuff is going to be pretty incredible. And right here, there's WASM handling. There's lots of different demos you can use here. There's games. So you got like Hashinals Blaster, Hashinova, Snake Dash, who everyone's familiar with, Space Inu Space Dash. And again, these are games that are stored on the Hedera consensus service, inscribed, similar to like Bitcoin ordinals. So, I mean, we've gone on the show about this stuff over and over and over again, but this is just bringing it up to the next level. And they also have a hackathon submission for one of the components of this. So this is huge. I mean, the Hedera hackathon stuff is like really producing some really awesome stuff. Actually, on that, I got to give a shout out to Bones, who's always watching the show. Bones had his hackathon submission, and I love this. So this is a game. Let me get to the game footage here. Yeah, so this is a game where as you're playing and you're doing your moves with your player, it records all those moves to the consensus service. So all the actions that you're taking in the game are provable and immutable. So that is very cool. Another hackathon submission, like, lots of crazy stuff happening. What else we got going on here? This was pretty big. So not only did Karate Combat get a shout out on the Lex Friedman podcast, which was pretty huge. They've been getting a lot of coverage and different media stuff happening. Only LARPing, the founder of Karate Combat, shared this, and I think this is huge. He says, for any sport, esport, fantasy sport, etc., that wants to replicate karate up only gaming with zero development, we're offering all our software 100% free, iOS, Android, web, and backend, immediate access to our 100,000 users, and token incentives to accelerate growth. Reach out. This is what this is all about. Karate Combat is one of the flagship use cases on Hedera. I love it. So many people in the ecosystem love it. And here they are opening up the door for everybody and saying, build, use our stuff. We'll help you. And this is something I love to see. I love to see this. So huge shout out to Only LARPing and Karate Combat. We have yet to see what the implications of this is going to be, but I imagine that there's going to be quite a few really cool use cases that are coming, and we'll just kind of have to see what that looks like. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what we're going to start seeing, but I think it's going to be really, really, really cool. Let's see here. What else we got going on? We've got, one sec. Classic. My Stream Deck fell out of sync or something like that. I got to plug it back in. Have you tried turning it on and off again? There we go. Let's see if the buttons work now. Camera 2. There we go. Also too, so again, on a bit of a, not a downer note, but it is what it is. We got an update from Bonzo Finance. So they're delaying their mainnet launch because the Supra Oracle that gives price feeds have decided to, at this time, stop serving some of that data that Bonzo Finance is going to need. And so as far as I know, according to the information here, is Bonzo Finance is working with various partners in the ecosystem to try and get the resources needed to ensure that they can launch on time. I'm a little, to be honest, as we know, borrowing and lending is so, I've had Brady on the show, co-founder of Bonzo Finance, on the show, and he made it clear, and it's clear to me that borrowing and lending is probably one of the most, if not the most important component of DeFi in Web3. It accounts for, I think, 45% of TVL in general. So really, when you think of that, that's huge. And some people might say like, well, borrowing and lending is risky and it's leverage and it's this and it's that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, hello. That's the whole economy. That's the world economy. Take out borrowing and lending from like the American economy. It's like you have nothing. That's what an economy is. Being able to have liquidity, being able to hold something and not have to sell it to get access to liquidity, right? Borrow against it, or earn yield from lending things. So, yeah, so that's a comment here. Borrowing and lending is risky. Yeah, for sure it's risky, but if you don't have borrowing and lending in an economy, the economy doesn't exist really. Think about what would happen to, a major economy like America or something like that if you didn't have borrowing and lending. That's all it is. That's all it is. You want to buy a house? You're borrowing. You want to do anything? You're borrowing and lending. Credit, that's what it is. So whether you use it or not, borrowing and lending is such a critical component to any Web3 ecosystem. It's why so many ecosystems put so much support and emphasis on those platforms. So it's shocking to me that Bonzo Finance and other platforms are struggling to launch. It's not like we have a lack of resources in Hedera. We have plenty of resources to deploy. This is a really important thing, and for Supra as an Oracle, borrowing and lending platforms are dependent on trusted and verified price feeds for the price of assets being borrowed and lended to ensure that things are over collateralized and all those different types of things. So it is a little shocking to me because it's not that difficult of a problem, and very unfortunate. It would be a major hit to this ecosystem if we didn't have a borrowing and lending platform launch. And Bonzo Finance seems to be one of the leading ones. So this says a lot. And I think that definitely some alarm bells should be going off. And we definitely need to immediately make sure that this aspect of the network is supported. Supra needs to be able to supply those price feeds. And Bonzo Finance needs to be able to get their platform live so we can start really moving. It's critical. So I want to, just if you're building the borrowing and lending space, huge shout out. I'd encourage anybody who isn't up to speed on it or doesn't really understand it, look into it. It's so critical. It's like literally the lifeblood of a crypto economy. And when we get borrowing and lending, there's so many people ready to use it. And that's what's going to attract enterprise, right? Remember, Hedera saying, we want enterprise, right? And what we're hearing back from enterprise is, you need more users, you need more TVL, you need more retail. So let's answer the call. Let's double down. Let's make it happen because it's so close. We're so close. We're right there. There's no shortage of resources. Let's deploy it. Let's make it happen. Anybody who gets this back on track is going to be a hero. But huge shout out to Bonzo Finance. Good team, working hard. Now on to a win. Love to see this. Neuron, awesome use case on Hedera. They've made a post, progress check. We now have almost 50 live flight data services, aka sensors, registered on the network as part of the beta program. Within 3 years, we estimate we hit 50,000 live services across 6 use case verticals with over $200 million of value transferred through the network annually. Some pretty bold projections. But again, this is built on Hedera. This is live. This is popping. This is what we like to see. Let's see. Neuron. Neuron.world. Let's look at this. Where's the home page? Hold on. Home. Take me home. Okay. Check this out. This is the Neuron Explorer. So these are people who have purchased physical hardware sensors, put it into their roofs and different things, and they're sending data to the Neuron network. This is a protocol. Look at this. So this is going to be able to track flight data, delivery systems, like all sorts of stuff. This is a decentralized protocol. If Neuron goes out of business in the future, this will still exist. Weather data, whatever it is. This is like the version 2 of Helium in a way. So this is so exciting. This is happening. This is driving TPS. This is an awesome vibe. A total of 5.3 million transactions. How awesome is that? Like, seriously, how awesome is that? And again, this is a use case that was promised years ago, delivering. And we've been talking about them. So I know sometimes we talk about use cases like Coupon Bureau and different things like that, where it's like, oh, they disappeared, or oh, it's not working out, or whatever. But to be clear, more often than not in Hedera, this community, this ecosystem is delivering in big ways. And it's really fun to see. So again, huge shout out to Neuron, all that kind of stuff. I love to see it. Also, we've got, there's a bit of a question for Manson Lehman that I saw on Reddit. And to be honest, this is one thing I'm like really bummed about is someone said first principles. Manson Lehman posted 4 videos for their new first principles show within the span of a month, then nothing. And I was so stoked on that First Principles video series. They did one on like the early days of Hedera. They did one on AI. I think they did, or we're going to do one on quantum computing. So there's a bunch of cool stuff that they were talking about, and we're going to talk about. They were planning on doing one a month. I don't know why there isn't a new First Principles, but like Lehman and Mance, if you're listening to the show, please, we need a new First Principles. I'd love to see them. That'd be great to see. Yeah, so we're about 15 minutes out from, I would say, launching one of the most important tools in the ecosystem this year, HederaTransactions.com, but for revenue. And I think that this is going to be something that everyone will find really useful. Also, you know, it's a hackathon submission from Hgraph, so it was kind of cool. We built it in 30 days. And it's something that I think a lot of people are going to find, they're going to find really useful. And maybe we got Tyler calling in shortly here. But yeah, maybe, I mean, I've been away for 2 weeks here, just at the conferences and building stuff and everything like that. It's been a while. I've missed you guys. It's been a while since we hung out. And maybe I'll just give some general observations of just kind of over the last few weeks. Is I think that, again, I talk about this a lot, you know, the fact that, you know, leaders in this ecosystem are people that do see problems as opportunities, right? I think that there are definitely problems, and I think that we can definitely talk about them. I think a big challenge that we've had through different challenges we've had this year, and we can list them off. There's definitely been some setbacks in this ecosystem for sure, some disappointments, some hard conversations, and actually one of those is, this is actually worth kind of bringing up here. Quick little detour here. I know there's some mixed opinions on this, but it's just worth noting. The HBAR bull has a letter that was sent to the Hedera Governing Council about staking. And I talked about this on the show a lot last few episodes. This is the letter, though. He had written a letter and now has published it after it was sent to the Governing Council. And to be honest, this ties into kind of what I'm talking about, is like, let's just start off with staking. Is like, a lot of people's opinions on staking is, you know, one camp is like, staking's at 0.22%. How's that going to attract new people? You know, retail pays the bills, which is true, by the way. That's just a fact. I mean, the reality here is that, you know, the revenue generated by Hedera, as we'll see later, and also, or soon, and also the fact that, you know, these organizations depend on people buying HBAR to stay in business, right? It's how they pay salaries. It's how they fund their companies. So it's people buying HBAR. It's retail buying HBAR. Not saying that other folks like enterprises aren't. It's just saying that the vast majority of people are buying HBAR. And you think about aligning incentives in the ecosystem for the amount of value and effort contributed. And so, yeah, the one side, you could argue that, you know, it's at 0.2% or even lower. We need to realign incentives. We need to reward these holders. We need to, you know, prevent them from selling, whatever. You know, one of the best things that could happen for Hedera, both from a security standpoint, sustainability standpoint, is the increase in the price of HBAR, right? It's pretty plain. So there's an argument that says we need to send more money to account 0.0.800 to make it more attractive to hold HBAR and draw more people into the ecosystem. It can be seen as a marketing spend, all these types of things. And then there's another camp that kind of says, you know, well, that money could be better spent elsewhere, or We need to instead stimulate other DeFi protocols like Stater or Saucer Swap or whatever, and give them the funding to bolster their rewards and different things. My opinion is like, why not both? You know, I agree with this letter, and I encourage everyone to have a read of it. Basically, just outlines why, how, and what can be done to increase staking rewards for native staking on Hedera. I think about what we just talked about, Copper, right? An institutional enterprise, custodial platform integrated everywhere. If we had HBAR staking back at 6.5%, like that would be a very attractive product for them to offer their clients. And again, it would further bolster the growth of the network awareness. I think it could do more good than any marketing campaign. So I agree with that, but I also see the other side of it. I guess my opinion is like, I don't understand the logic behind someone saying we shouldn't increase native staking on Hedera. I don't think that there's a good reason for that. I do think that would be a very effective deployment of capital, even to get it back up to the 2.5% limit or whatever. And the other side to it as well is there is more work to be done for Hedera native staking, right? Native staking on other networks are baked right into the protocol, right? They can't be changed or adjusted. It's just math baked right into the protocol. Right now, Hedera staking can be adjusted by the governing council. I think that's worth taking another stab at architecting, native staking on the network to be baked into the protocol, so it can be one and done kind of thing. So I do think that is something interesting that could be done, and I think that's what it is. So, anyways, good letter on the native staking. Yeah, and I mean, I see potential change happening in different things like that. Like I said, I'm seeing great energy in the community. Question: what's the latest on community nodes? Not a whole lot. It was removed from the Hedera roadmap, and I know that is disappointing to some people, but I think what Hedera has done largely is they're reprioritizing how the network itself is architected and the ease in which it can be changed and updated and built upon. So they've modularized the code base, which is huge. And I think that the reason community nodes were pushed back is because this was deemed to be more important. I think that Hedera understood a real issue in which things need to move faster and be able to be iterated on quicker. So on one hand, you can be disappointed that community nodes were pushed back. Myself, after really looking at things, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that what's been prioritized is more important, to be honest, and will lead to the deployment of community nodes, I think, much quicker and much more effectively. But again, there's economics around it. A huge component of bringing community nodes online is Hedera working towards sustainability by 2029. That's what they've set out. And that depends on the revenue that the network generates. To run a community node, the network has to be generating revenue. And what do I mean by revenue? Well, revenue is earned via transaction fees. So if we go to Hashscan here, I'll just load up Hashscan. This is the little network explorer for Hedera. If I just pull up a random transaction here on Hashscan, here you'll see the transaction and a little spot down here where it's like, okay, someone sent some HBAR, and then here are the fees associated with it, right? One goes to the node account. So the consensus node earns a little bit of money. The Hedera treasury earns the lion's share of that money. And then a little bit goes to the staking reward account. And this is considered, these three areas are considered, you could say, revenue for the Hedera network. This number needs to go up, right? And that's really what this is about, is for community nodes, for a lot of different things that we're focused on, is geared around revenue. When it really comes down to it, TPS is fantastic. TVL is very important. Daily active users, monthly, weekly, quarterly, yearly active users is important. All that kind of stuff is important. Number of accounts, everything. But for me, as a community member, I've always wanted revenue to be something that we focus on too, because that's really what unlocks so many different things we want to see. If Hedera as a network is generating revenue, that means that there is money flowing through the system to enable things like community nodes and make so many different things possible. And it means that Hedera as a network, their lifespan grows. They have more to do more things. And it's a flywheel effect. And I think that the missing piece here is, and this is why I bring up HederaTransactions.com, which again is a great website, is the reason there's so much pressure on growing TPS, right? The reason that so much incentive is aligned on TPS is because it's the only thing that we can see as a community. It's the only thing that we can point to or look at or understand or measure. So I think that revenue for the network has largely been not ignored, but pushed aside in priority, largely because as a community, we're not able to put that pressure on and see the numbers ourselves. And so it's a question that we see all the time. I get asked it on the show. For years, I've seen it on the subreddit and everywhere like that. And there's a few really smart people that crunch the numbers themselves, but it takes so long and it's not super accurate to figure out how much money Hedera generates in the form of revenue from transaction fees. And so this brings us to the last 5 minutes here. In 5 minutes, this launches. And this is what Hgraph has built. I work at Hgraph. We're a mirror node provider in the ecosystem. I'll just pull up our website here. Yeah, hgraph.com. Mirror node provider. We build all sorts of different apps, all sorts of different things. We have some new stuff coming soon, which is very exciting. We work with some great people in the ecosystem. And we're focused on infrastructure engineering, data analytics. Like our mirror nodes are actual physical hardware mirror nodes that we own and they're in data centers. Some of those data centers are powered by solar energy, which is kind of cool. But this is where all the data for the network is stored. Every transaction for Hedera, right? If you want to send somebody HBAR, that uses a consensus node. If you want to see what your HBAR balance is, a lot of times that uses a mirror node. It's kind of, that's how it works. It's like read and write from the network. And so because everything we've ever done in this network is stored in these mirror nodes, we can use data science, advanced engineering, analysis, and compute to take those, crunch those numbers, and for the first time, allow anybody anywhere to see how much revenue Hedera is generating, and really be a part of that journey. This is an important journey. As Hedera grows, as revenue goes up, half the fun is seeing that number go up, right? And I think that's what this is really, really about. And so very soon we'll have Tyler, CEO of Hgraph, joining the show, aka my boss. Be nice, please, to talk a little bit about the tool. And in just a minute here, when it launches, I'll show you guys on the show. We're almost at 300 viewers watching live right now, which is kind of crazy. And like I said, maybe there are some people, that aren't super enthused that this information is out there. But I think that it's worth reminding that Hedera Transactions launched when the network was at like 5 TPS. That's part of the joy, right? Is starting at the bottom. And to be honest, like name a tech company, like even Twitter, like Hedera is making some money. Even Twitter isn't making any money. So in my mind, seeing the numbers myself now, I feel much more informed, much more energized, much more empowered as a community member. And I feel locked in. I feel like I'm able now to tell the story of Hedera, understand what's going on, and really, make it happen as a community. That's really what it's about for me. So we're 1 minute away almost from the platform launching. If you haven't had a chance, go to Hgraph's Twitter account, the X account. Here, I just got a tweet. All systems are go. Let's go. Yeah, Hgraph's Twitter account. We got all systems go. Little teaser here. This is what it looks like. A little blurry, but hopefully we'll bring the ecosystem into focus a little bit. So this is going to be announced very soon in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. Give Hgraph a follow as well. I don't mean to plug. I'm just excited. I mean, I don't like to talk about my own projects or my own job or anything like that on the show. I like to keep it pretty chill, but I'm very excited today. I think this is a very important thing. It's a common good type thing. And it's a hackathon submission. I got to say again, this is a submission for the Hello Future Hackathon that just ended midnight last night. And it was great. Honestly, the people running it, Angel Hack, and the judges that are a part of that, the mentors. I think it was really, really great. And I think that, for the community, I imagine we're going to see a bunch of really cool stuff popping up from the hackathon, which is going to be great. Michael, shout out. Appreciate you, man. So it's time. It's going to be going live any minute. And I've got Tyler, CEO of Hgraph, calling in. And let's kick it off. Tyler, good to see you, man. How's it going?
Good, Brandon. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Where are you calling in from? You said you were camping?
Yeah, I'm camping. I'm actually in my camper van currently, so that's why you're seeing a
it looks like a very spacious looks like a very spacious camper van.
Yeah, it's about a 4,000 square foot van that we drive around in with a fireplace in the middle. It's been good. I had intentions to have a really cool backdrop, but it's actually pouring here right now, so that's why we're in here.
I got you. Yeah, whenever I go camping in Canada, it's like guaranteed that it's like just going to be raining for half the time. So I totally get it. But yeah, we're just a minute out from launching this thing. We're gonna have a tweet going out, and we'll show what we've been working on for everybody. But yeah, maybe if you wanted to just I was telling people about kind of what we were building, why we're building it. I haven't said any kind of what it's called or anything, but maybe just really quick, like 30-second, like you've never been on the show. So maybe like, who are you in the community? What are you excited about? And kind of what's your experience been in the Hedera community?
Yeah, sure. I can give a little background about myself in the last few years in the Hedera community. How we got kind of the first project I got started within in Hedera was hosting a mirror node, and we built one of the things that we found was we wanted to gather some greater insights into the mirror node. So we started building some additional software on top of that, and we have some additional API layers, and we've been doing that since 2022, I believe, early 2022. So we have years of experience of in this ecosystem, managing the very large databases that come along with the mirror node. So that's been basically doing that for the last couple of years, and we've I've worked with a number of projects on the ecosystem. Just a whole bunch of different projects on the ecosystem. Some of the most ambitious builders, some of the some of the biggest projects, and it's been really fun to see or to be the person sometimes that someone comes like, hey, how do I get this information about a token or about a smart contract or about whatever it may be. And it's been oftentimes we're able to say like, well, if we look at the data in just at the data layer, so a mirror node encompasses a data layer and then software layers that basically query the layer. So we've really the most expensive and the most challenging part can be the data layer, which is managed Postgres databases. So that's one of the like contributions I bring into the ecosystem is the experience in managing that type of infrastructure. So we've been able to provide support to people that need more complex or bespoke answers to some of the questions. So that's a bit of my background. Been around in the ecosystem for a few years, often in the background, but Hgraph has been trucking away for a few years now. And that's kind of my background.
Love it. I mean, truly a hidden gem in the ecosystem. It's been awesome working with you, and it's exciting. This is the moment. It's live. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly show this to folks and give people a quick rundown on the tool. So basically, what we've got going on here is we've got something hot. We've got the Hgraph's Hedera Revenue Dashboard. Just got posted on Hgraph's social media, and when you load it up, it looks, again, this is the hackathon. It was cool doing some front end work for the first time in a while. I haven't had a chance to in a couple of years, but basically, the tool is pretty simple. The left area here shows you the income from which services on Hedera are earning that revenue. So HTS, the token service, the smart contract service, the consensus service, and then like the file service and some other stuffs are clumped under other. And in the middle area here, you've got the revenue earned in HBAR. You've got the current conversion rate to US dollar. So no matter what time frame you're choosing, it's always the current conversion rate. So just keep that in mind. You've also got a percentage change between the period selected and the prior period. So just to kind of get an idea of what the difference has been in either the growth or the shrinking of it. And then in the deposits area, this is where the revenue ends up. So like we were talking about, and I was showing on Hashscan before, the transaction fees are split three ways, one going to one of the node accounts, to the staking account, and to treasury. And this is we wanted to create a tool that was very simple, easy to understand. We have a lot planned for it, but let's just take a look at some stuff here. So I can choose different time periods. So like 24 hours, last week, last month, and you can access this tool right now. It's live, HederaRevenue.com. You can go there and check it out. Last quarter. And you can see all these numbers update instantly, which is really, really great. And we've got a unique tool down here, which allows you to filter out transactions paid for by account 0.0.1459478. That account pays for about, I'd say 98% or more of transactions going through the network. So it's kind of just like a basic kind of like data analytics thing, where if you've got a huge outlier, sometimes removing that can give you a more detailed look at things. And it's worth noting that commonly that payer account is associated with, or we know it's associated with, Atma.io, a great use case from Avery Dennison, again, responsible for 98% of transactions on the network and about 78% of revenue. And it is noted that those transactions are subsidized. So another reason why I think it's important to remove those from calculations if you wish, to again get a more nuanced look. And one could say that it gives you a look at revenue on the network that's unsubsidized. So for example, if we want to go to last week's revenue, we can filter out the Atma.io transactions by flipping the switch. And then you can see those numbers change and how it looks. And again, one could say this is now revenue on the network that is unsubsidized. So with Atma.io and without Atma.io. So I think this is a really great tool. The Hedera transactions for revenue, HederaRevenue.com, Hgraph's Hedera Revenue Dashboard. So I think it's a really great tool. I'm so stoked that we got it launched, and it's live. And there was also a part of me, man, where I was like, with a live demo, is it going to break? Is it going to whatever? But it's like, it's working great. So I'm just so excited.
Yeah, this has been really, really fun to do. I've been an engineer for quite some time. This is my first hackathon.
Right.
So it's been I think we really got the full experience of putting a lot of work into a small amount of time. And it was cool that we got a chance to do it in person. And yeah, I think kudos to you. Great job on the front end. It looks great. It's been
Thanks,
fun
man.
to collaborate in that sort of way. And just to think about a little bit of the the speed in which we were able to put this together. I think I posted something a few days ago of, I was just like pretty happy to see all the new deployments coming on a Sunday before finishing the hackathon. So this has been a really fun experience, and I'll give a shout out to FlexStack for helping us deploy so quickly. So that's been pretty great, and we just really enjoy this type of work. And there's a lot of different questions that can be answered through SQL queries and those sorts of things. And I'm happy to continue to expound upon these insights that we have and share with the community and gather feedback.
Love it. I got a question from somebody asking, does this include the subsidized transactions? And like I said, as people note in the community, that @my.io transactions are subsidized. And so yes, by default, it includes those. But like I was explaining, there's a little switch here on the bottom right. This is the payer account associated with @my.io. And if you switch that, it removes that from it. So you can see both, you can see it both ways, however you wish. It's just a simple little switch. So it excludes and includes it depending on how you want to see it. And also too, I got to give a shout out to FlexStack. Let me load up the website here. Flexstack.com. This platform's wild. So if you're deploying on AWS, I wouldn't even know the first thing about getting something deployed to AWS. And I know that it requires a lot of legwork to get something up there. And then just the DevOps and everything happening. So this platform we used for our hackathon submission, and it just it works. It works so well. So I was so stoked about that. I didn't know if you had anything else to say about FlexStack, Tyler, but I wanted to give it a shout out just because it was it made it really easy. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, I think we were in person, right? And we were getting ready for lunch. And we're like, we should get this ready to launch, right? Let's get it up. And I think, in the midst of changing a tire for lunch and getting it up and running and connecting an AWS account, we're ready to go and in preparation for the show. And this is some complex infrastructure things. There's a lot of moving pieces to host a production application on AWS, in a scalable way. But we were able to get it up in 10 minutes, which is great. And even one of the cool things too, it's the switch between going from development to production was just a little button. So we're ready to slam the website. It's okay.
Okay, it's not gonna break. It's not gonna break. Fingers crossed. Now calling in with a live reaction to the news, we've got Gerbert the Grelf calling in. Gerbert, how's it going on over at the Stump? What's new? What's your reaction to the news here?
Well, at the Stump, it's horrible. I mean, it's just been raining and raining for weeks. I got mushrooms growing in my room, new ones. That's scary. That's scary for me. But it's really exciting. Your guys' news is really cool. But what actually is @Mario?
@my.io is an actually really cool use case there. So it's a use case by Avery Dennison, which is a governing council member. So anyone that's the governing council isn't building on Hedera, it's yeah, they are, and they're doing some cool stuff. But basically, it's I believe it's supply chain related, carbon offset tracking related, and I think that it is. Basically through the supply chain, they can assign carbon offsets to all sorts of different components and track all different things. And it's the people say it's subsidized. I mean, that's a pretty normal thing for enterprise coming into software. I mean, Hedera is a startup with a beta product. They want enterprises to try it. So, I mean, it's the foundation, putting some HBAR behind that and subsidizing it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. But I do think that when we talk about revenue for Hedera, it's nice to kind of take it out and kind of see what the network is making that are, one could say is unsubsidized. But yeah, that's what I know about it.
That chart again. Let me see that chart. Let me see that website.
Okay, Jesus. All right.
Let me take a look at this. I don't know. Look, I'm a visual learner.
Right. I got you.
So I'm going to need to see some things.
Yeah.
Well, except for reading. I don't like looking at words. All right, so okay, so let's do last week. Let's do last week.
This is including the Atma account, payer account.
All right. So income, okay. Income. We got 92%. It's HCS.
Yeah.
Now that's at Mario, right? That one.
Well, we can see. So if we filter out the Atma account.
Oh my gosh. What? Where did all the monies go?
Well, Gerbert, on Hedera, one of the benefits of the network is the consensus service is so cheap to use. So there could be a ton of transactions there, but it doesn't generate a lot of revenue, but the service is cheap to use.
And that's a benefit.
I would say for enterprise for sure, but I mean, look at this up here. It's pretty clear that
HTS 33%.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So this means, as far as the money going into Hedera's pocket, right? Not the one that's moving from one pocket to the same pocket. So like the fresh monies, 33% of the fresh monies comes from silly little crypto coins on Hedera.
I think that if that's your hypothesis, I think that the data, now that we can see it for the first time, shows that.
Oh my gosh! Turn the thingy backs off. Oh, look at that. See, it looks a little stinky. HTS 3%. You're not doing nothing, baby, but turn off that boy. That's a 10x. That's a 10x right there.
It is. And I mean, a lot, when I say retail pays the bills and people say that, I mean, kind of shows
what that means.
But it is.
Okay.
It is fun to use. And I know this is the other thing too. I know that people might look at some of these revenue numbers and be like, oh, that was lower than I thought it would be. Like, here's the last hour, right? When we turn off Atma, it's $90 an hour. But the thing is, Gerbert, it's okay. The thing is that we have to remember that Hedera is a technology company, and there's a lot of technology companies that make no money, And so I think that what we're seeing here is we have to remember too, the HederaTransactions.com website that a lot of people use to watch transactions on the network, that launched when we were at like 5 TPS or whatever. So we're going to see this stuff start to grow. And I know that Hedera is focused on revenue in some capacity, but I think now that the community can all see it together and everyone can be on the same page, I think that this is going to be a really important thing for everybody to have access to this info.
Can we get real-time TPS numbers without at Mario?
We could do that. At Hgraph, we on the website, we have a little link at the bottom where you can submit feedback. So if you have ideas or different things you'd like to see, and also too, I know that I think it's Lemon Bird or whoever it is that does the HederaTransactions.com website. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you add some more features or support in any way.
Yeah, do that so people can be like, oh.
Yeah.
3 O's in succession is always a good sign.
That is a good sign. We got a comment here from Mr. Best. This is a great point. There's also an opportunity here for Hedera to set a new standard. I think every company and every network out there, there's the option to kind of show this kind of information. So I think this definitely sets Hedera a notch above in transparency. Michael Garber from Swirls Lab says also could be worth comparing to other projects like Link, CCPIP, revenue to gauge Hedera revenue with other projects. That's part of the goal, Michael, is we like, again, Hgraph is a data focused company. So these are the questions we see. And this is an example of how we can execute to figure out what's going on with, as Gerbert says, the crypto coins.
When's Chainlink getting integrated on Hedera anyway? Didn't some guy say that was going to happen?
But that was you.
Huh? Where?
What are you talking about?
Me?
That was your salary. You're telling me you got word from Sally Mander that they were doing it. So you should tell us what's going on.
Oh, well, it takes time.
Okay. Right. Jesus.
I mean,
All right.
don't blame me. God.
I'm not going to blame you.
Hey,
I'm not
Sal,
gonna blame you.
can you tell me just tell me what to say, Sal. Just tell me what to say. He says, it takes time.
Okay. So you're saying,
Yeah.
be patient soon. It's coming.
Is that what I'm saying? Sal? He says 2 weeks. Sal,
Nice.
don't say that.
Okay. Gerbert.
That's a deadline.
Okay.
We don't
Gerbert,
like those.
I got to get on with the show. I want to wrap things up with Tyler and then have some lunch because I'm starving. But Gerbert, any final words, any shout outs, any final thoughts?
Everybody should be happier because otherwise it's harder to be here.
I dig it. I agree. Wise words, Gerbert. Well, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Pass on the good word to Jake and everything like that. We love him, and have a great rest of your day back at the stump, my man.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gerbert.
All right. So I'm happy we were able to have Gerbert stop by for that nuanced analysis and reaction to the Hedera transaction website. But yeah, dude, feels good. I think people are excited about this thing. I think that I titled the show "Information is Power." So I hope that, the community feels empowered by this tool. And I definitely appreciate you. I think that you're definitely a hidden gem in the ecosystem. I think that if anyone's building or anything like that, reach out to Tyler. It's just been awesome building this with you. And I think that this stuff makes all the difference. So I think it's fantastic, man.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks so much. It's been great to be on the show. I'm surprised it's taken me a while and oftentimes in the background, but it's been great building with you, and it's been great to be on the show. And I guess I'd like to just maybe comment on why revenue, or why
Sure.
why this tool. So one of the I think if we boil down just what makes a successful business, businesses such as Hedera's are complex, right? There's a lot of moving parts. There's and one of those things is time. Over time, the right decisions influence a network to go in a certain way. But if businesses often look at a variety of different KPIs, and one of the core ones is clearly revenue. You really don't over time, you don't get anywhere without revenue, and revenue is a good indicator of success. And you simplify business to being P equals R minus E. Profit equals revenue minus expenses. I do think that revenue can really indicate where something's going. So I'm excited to see a bit of a focus on this particular metric, and also kind of a shout out. This is we've also had some of our groups are interested to see what their impact on the network is. So we have some other things in our hopper and our pipeline to help individual groups build on the network, to see not only their impact on the network, or how successful they are measured by what their users are interacting, the user activity. Expanding that, there's some data augmentation things that we're looking into as well. So I think this is just been a really fun network wide project to work on, and we'll continue to do these sorts of things, and it's been really fun to do this with you.
Hell yeah. And I'm seeing some of the reactions online. It's great to see everybody diving into it and checking it out. I want to stress to people, this is not something to get too worked up over about. And I think that the important thing here is it's not about subsidized transactions versus unsubsidized transactions. All this is about getting info to people. This has been the revenue. It's not like this is, some kind of new revelation, or I guess in some ways it is, but that little switching things on and off in analytics, it's just sometimes if you've got a bit of data and there's one player in it that's just totally an outlier, and removing it and getting a more nuanced view. That's what this is about. So this is definitely not about getting negative or different things like that. What this is about is empowering the ecosystem and getting the information we need. And again, Hedera raising the bar for every other network to say, here's our revenue. Let's see yours. Let's have, just as we work our way up the coin market cap rankings, just as we work our way up to #1 for TPS, let's work our way up on revenue because that's ultimately what's going to drive so much growth for this ecosystem. So I'm happy this tool is out there. I think that my own experience, I think, will be similar to a lot of people. I viewed it, I saw the data, and I was like, oh, it's less than I thought it would be. But a few days after, now having seen it, I feel a little lighter. Like, I just feel like, okay, like the pressure's off, and I'm informed, and it just, you definitely feel, you feel a little lighter with stuff. So I'm hoping that this will be a nice moment for the community to kind of like get the info they need and see it and go from there. So, I'm feeling good and really glad this tool is out there. So Tyler, very much appreciate you. And we got to have you on the show more. Great working on this with you, man.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm going to go load the logs in my camper van fire and we'll see you later. Thanks,
right
Brandon.
On. Cheers, man. Well, that was great, man. I can't believe I haven't had Tyler on the show until now. So that was great to have Tyler on. Great guy. Anyone needs help developing or anyone curious about stuff on the Hedera network, definitely check out Tyler and connect with him. He's an awesome resource. All right. So we're getting to the end of the show here. Oh, Jesus. But let me crack a cold one. And let's see what people are saying about the tool on social media. Should I look? Should I see what's going on? Let me see here. Yes, we're seeing some stuff here. So people are checking it out. People are looking. Guys, come on, guys. Jesus. So people are learning how to use the tool, which is great. Talking about it, that's awesome. Definitely seems people are checking it out. That's one big thing about the tool that was important for me is it's easy to screenshot and share on social media. That's why I love HederaTransactions.com is that's how information is spread across this ecosystem. Is it's not people going to see data and all these different types of things. It's like screenshotting it, sending it to friends. It's got to be really easy to understand. You got to be able to see the number. So that's what's really important. And also too, remember this USD amount, that's the current conversion rate, right? So remember some of the revenue generated, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago in Hedera, HBAR was at like 20, 30 cents or whatever. So like take that into account that you are seeing a current conversion rate for US dollar. So that's just kind of a reference. That's just kind of a reference point for different things. This is a good observation. When you flip the switch, it doesn't include Atma, the payer account associated with Atma, but it does include ASDAX and other subsidized traffic. I don't know if those are 100% subsidized, but it is worth knowing this is not a switch to filter out subsidized transactions. That's not what it's for. All it's there for is just a basic tool for data analysis. Again, if you're looking at a set of data and there's one part of it that's like crazy and an outlier, what you do with analysis is you analyze the whole thing and then you remove that outlier to get a little bit more of a nuanced view. It's just a basic tool. This is not a switch to turn off unsubsidized revenue. It's just a switch to turn off an outlier, a payer account that accounts for 98% of the transactions on the network. It's a basic analysis tool that's needed for something like this. People love it. People are sharing it. That's great to see. Love to see it. Let's take a look here. We got Coin Man sharing it. Yeah, Renly, information is power. We got people retweeting it. Brady, amazing. Hedera needs to be held accountable for this metric. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it's like, guys, it's not time for pitchforks right now. This is this is the way it is. I really want to make it clear that that's not the intention of this. The intention of this is just having some transparency and empowering the community and being able to grow the network together. And we can't really have that capability if we don't understand what we're looking to. So I just want to say that's not the intention of this, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion on that. Yeah, I think that people are enjoying this. Let's see some. Great work, Hgraph. Appreciate that. Great work with the tool. Awesome. Love to see it. Yeah, really appreciate the kind words, everybody. We got a lot of reactions to it. I think this is definitely going to be a hot topic in the ecosystem. And like I said, I think a lot of you folks are going to have the same experience I did, right? We need to just, once this information is available, of course, there's going to be reactions to it. My initial personal reaction was, dang, this is a lot lower or different than I thought it would be. But like I was saying is, and keep this in mind, because I think this is how you'll feel as well as you sleep on it, as you kind of go over the rest of your week. I think that it will be a little bit of a load off. You will feel a little lighter, and you'll just feel a little more informed. Same way as we watch the dips in TPS up and down and all those different types of things. This is really about just transparency, giving the information people are asking for and answering those questions. And this is a great tool for everybody, the governing council, the organizations, everybody. And there's a link right on the page to give feedback. If you find a bug, if you have a suggestion for a feature, if you have a question, any of that stuff, always open to that. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what Hgraph is going to be deploying on the network, which I'm very, very excited about. And another quick note that I just want to highlight that is really important is on the website at the bottom. We got some cool info, try out Hgraph, this and that. But and a link to hederatransactions.com. If you click that, it brings you to this website. This is another really great tool to see the transactions happening on the network. But this is a very important link. I'd encourage everybody to check this out. How this tool works. This is a detailed summary of why we built the tool, everything about it, a bit of a user guide on what all the different things do, some resources, and a breakdown of the methodology used for calculating revenue on the Hedera network, the date drop down, percentage indicator, the filter, all those different types of things. Some details about the data retrieval and computation that's happening on our mirror nodes and through our GraphQL API. And some stuff on, again, this is some instructions on how to run the application locally. And also a link to the GitHub repository, right? This is the repository for the project. You can go in, you can go check things out. Here's some of the SQL stuff for the data crunching. Here's some of the, here's the homepage, the website we're looking at. So you can go ahead and like crack it open and see what's going on. But yeah, this was super fun to work on. And like I said, this was a hackathon submission, and I think a unique hackathon submission because, like in this network, a lot of the stuff we focused on is focused on the right side of the network, putting things into the network, putting transactions into the consensus nodes. But mirror nodes are the other half of Hedera that are so vital to this ecosystem. They store all the information. Consensus nodes don't store that information. Mirror nodes do. If you want to find out what's happened on the network, if you want to go on an explorer and see all the transactions, if you want to see the TPS or the revenue of the network, If you want to see your token balances, view your NFTs, see all sorts of different things on DeFi, you have to have mirror nodes, right? And Hedera owns and operates physical hardware mirror nodes in data centers. And when you have that data, what you can do is you can then apply compute to it and do the math and actually turn that data into actual knowledge. So it's not just a list of transactions and a bunch of numbers that nobody can kind of understand. This is a problem on every network. You can take that data and you can turn it into things that are actually useful and then display it in ways in which people can understand and get knowledge from. So that's really what this is about. And that's why we kind of did the hackathon, is we wanted to do a hackathon that wasn't just about another DeFi thing or an NFT thing or an RWA thing. It's something that is new, something that is underutilized, something that is misunderstood, undersupported. The other half of the Hedera network, mirror nodes, right? Hedera is unique. It's got 2 node types, consensus nodes, mirror nodes. It's a beautiful thing. A lot of other networks, most, really focus on one. When you look at the actual computer, the hardware, it's the same old, same old. It's good at transactions and writing, and it's good at reading and analysis, right? Hedera is unique because we've split it. Consensus nodes are best in class at processing transactions and putting stuff in. And mirror nodes are best in class at storing information and getting stuff out. It's beautiful. And without mirror nodes, Hedera would not work very well. And we need mirror nodes. So this is what mirror nodes can do. This is the power that this data has. A lot of the answers to questions that we have as an ecosystem, a lot of the solutions to the problems we have in Hedera reside in hard drives in Hgraph's mirror nodes. And this is the result of that is HederaRevenue.com, a way to see how much money Hedera makes. I think largely this is going to be a positive thing. And it'll be really exciting to see what change this drives in the ecosystem. So, man, Jesus, what an episode. It was great to have Tyler on the show. Great to have Grelf on the show. It was awesome to talk about the trip to Toronto. That was great, meeting everybody. It was awesome to see, let me see here. It was awesome to see the ecosystem kind of come together and working through the Thrive Coin stuff. Let's be real; those guys are really nice people, doing some good work. Let's make sure we support and help them out. And we were talking about also too. I mean, reminder on Saturday it's the anniversary of the mainnet going live, so that's something we're celebrating. Also too, we talked about headlines from the barking game, hBARK, Coupon Bureau, AOPay, Copper Custodial Solutions, Kiloscribe, Karate Combat, Bonzo Finance, the staking letter sent to the governing council, Neuron, Lehman and Mance. We need another first principles episode. We need that. But it's been 2 weeks. It's great to be back. This show is live every Wednesday, right? The show's live every Wednesday at noon Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on X, YouTube, and soon LinkedIn. LinkedIn. I had to spend some time on LinkedIn recently. I didn't have like a great time. But there you go. And it was awesome again to have Tyler on the show, and it was great to talk about HederaRevenue.com. And to be honest, it was my first hackathon. It was my first hackathon. Something funny about the story of it was this was something we were planning to build for a while, and we were so busy working on so many cool things. And it was just kind of on the shelf, but we knew how important this was from the community. And so when we found out about the hackathon, we had a couple wireframes and we had some ideas organized, but we hadn't really started any work on it. And when the hackathon came, we were just lucky to have something ready to go. And at first we were like, but this isn't using, this isn't using the consensus nodes. We're not using the transaction service. We're not using the smart contract service or the consensus service. We're just mirror nodes. We're doing the other thing. We're getting stuff out. And we were like, well, but that's the network. Like that's half the network. We're just, instead of focusing on the half that a lot of other folks focus on, we're just focusing on the other half of it, the read side. And so we were like, you know what, let's go for it. And we, working in the hackathon, the whole team there, we had people from Swirlds Labs in there. There's people from the HBAR Foundation, people from Hedera, all involved. Such a good vibe. I needed that energy. I mean, a huge shout out to all those folks for organizing it and pulling it off. I needed that energy as a community member. I needed to be a part of something like this, and so that was really phenomenal. And so, put our submission in right in time and crossing our fingers that we win. But to be honest, we were going to build it anyways, and this was just like an extra cherry on the top. It's just so fun, and yeah, I mean, and there's also so many other incredible hackathon submissions. Like we talked about Bones submission, Michael Cantor's from NFTer submission. Also Pluto has a submission. Let's just quickly, also, I mean, I gotta share these because I'm obsessed with some of these submissions to the hackathon. And I think there's going to be a lot more coming out, to be honest. There is a submission from, let me see here, Pluto. This is great. So Pluto from Hashpack. It's a virtual space where you go with your friends and you can trade tokens on the Hedera network with your friends. Like, so go walk around and hang out, meet up with friends and like trade tokens with each other. Like that is epic. So awesome hackathon submission. We were talking about Bones earlier submission. Also too, Milan, legend in the Hedera ecosystem, if he shared his yet. I don't want to spoil it. Okay, he did. He hasn't shared it yet, but Milan has this hackathon submission as well. Keep an eye out on Milan. His is amazing. Like his hackathon submission is wild. I don't know if he wants to talk about it publicly yet, but follow Milan if you're not. Keep an eye on his stuff. He's got some awesome things coming. But yeah, so the hackathon was great. But I got to wind down the show. I'm hungry. I need some lunch. But it's great. It's great being back doing the show with everybody. We've got just close to 600 listeners on the show. And to be honest, it is kind of mind blowing how the show grows, the support, everything. I just appreciate you guys so much. And I couldn't do the show without everybody. And the support and everything. That's the other thing too. I know I have hard talks on the show here, and I complain, and the show runs too long and all this kind of stuff. And I know I'd probably get more viewers and the show would be more popular if I just talked about all the good stuff. But I think that that's what the show's about for me. Is that it really is about celebrating this ecosystem, all the good in it. And looking at problems as opportunities. You know what it is? The show should run longer. Jesus, Grelf. No, it should not. I can tell you the feedback that I get, that's not what should be happening at all. But no, it's fantastic. So before I wind things down, let's just play around with this HederaRevenue.com one more time. It's fun. So let's look at all-time revenue. Right. Again, this is at the current US dollar exchange rate. We filtered out the ABMA.io payer account. But it is cool to see this info. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. It is important to see this info, Let's look at last year, right? ABMA is switched on, and now we're filtering it out. And we see the percentage change. I think the real headline here, just before I go, and this I think is a really important thing. And again, one could say that ABMA.io is considered subsidized revenue, right? One could say that, and I think that it's well established that it's a trial for ABMA. I would agree with that sentiment. But I think the real headline here, guys, to just get real here, is I have ATMA filtered out, right? Every major time period here, consistently, non-ATMA generated revenue for Hedera is going up. That's the headline here. That's what we need to pay attention to. That's what matters. Unsubsidized revenue for Hedera is going up. That's a great, beautiful thing. And that's something we need to pay attention to. And just to kind of keep things focused here, as we kind of talk about this new tool online and stuff like that. That's what this is really about. That's the story here. The right number is going up, and it has been, right? That's the story here. It's green. That for me is what this is all about. It's seeing that builders on this ecosystem are bringing value. They're seeing success, right? Revenue for Hedera is revenue for other people as well. That's what it means. So this is a very powerful tool. As Uncle Ben says, with great power comes great responsibility. It's great that we have this information now, but let's be responsible with it. Let's look at it, take time to digest it. Let's not jump the gun on things too much. I know that we can get a little spicy here, but let's try and be respectful and, really come together and, let's make it work. Let's continue making that number go up. I love to see it. And also too, it will no longer be the case soon enough that you have to filter out ATMA, right? All of this, what's showing on our end with the data is things are heading in the right direction. And now we have to ask ourselves, what can we do as an ecosystem to make sure that we amplify that, put more resources in the right place, focus on the right things in regards to Hedera's sustainability as a network. So I think that's what really matters. So thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been a very exciting special episode. Awesome to have Tyler and Grelf tune in, and over 600 people watching live. A very nice warm welcome back to the show. So appreciate it. With that, we're going to sign things off. And I think that my final thoughts on the last 2 weeks and kind of this week is, despite everything, I think that the leaders in this ecosystem, when they see problems, they see opportunity, right? And that makes me optimistic. I'm super bullish. I'm optimistic. I'm here till the day HBAR goes to zero. Don't even worry about it. And I don't think that's the case. So let's keep it real and appreciate everybody. Hello, future. Goodbye, past.
Thanks for listening to the Hashgraph Enthusiast Show, hosted by Brandon Davenport.
Listen to past episodes and support the show at itsbrandond.com/hbar.